Equity Mates.
I will say this about investing. Everything you do learn is cumulative. What I learned at 20 is useful.
Equity.
Welcome back to another episode of Equity Mates, or should I say we're turning the dial to another groovy episode of Equity Mates. As I've sung, just stop your crying, it's a sign of the times. Whether you're a newbie in the financial world or you're already feeling fabulous, we're here to help you find that harmony in investing. As always, I'm joined by my equity buddy Ren, who's rubbing his temples, I think, trying to figure out who I am.
Oh, I'm not going to get it, but I can sing the song.
Okay, nice.
I'm not going to
Come
because
on.
our consumption rate will fall through the floor.
I think it could improve.
Look, I'm going to save the Christmas songs for Talk Money to me.
Yeah.
They did their 12 songs of Christmas and they sung for each stock. So go and listen to that. This is my way of stalling because I'm not going to get it. Who is it?
Harry Styles.
Ah.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Anyway, Ren, I think
We
was probably...
just lost our young demographic.
we did. But that is the second to last ChatGPT intro for the year. We've got one more episode to close out the year next year where we announce the Equity Mates Awards and wrap some of our biggest moments. But today, Ren, we are wrapping 2023 with our bold predictions and who wins stock of the year.
Yes. Now, at the start of every year, we have an episode where we make bold predictions, and then we're joined by expert investor Andrew Brown, and he makes some bold predictions as well. We're going to be wrapping his bold predictions on Thursday this week, so look, keep your eyes out for that episode. So we're going to review the predictions we made at the start of the year, but we also pick a stock, one stock for the year. It's like our very own Sown Hearts and Minds stock pitch competition. And every year, whatever I choose is terrible. And
I've won.
You beat me every year. No, but you don't just win. Like the year I picked Costa Group, the fruit and berries grower, there was like terrible weather and they lost like 40% of their value.
Yeah.
And then the year that I picked Tencent, the Chinese internet giant, Trump cracked down on China and the Chinese government cracked down on tech and it lost like 40% of its value.
Yeah.
So this exercise is always fraught for me. But we will see who won this year.
Yes, well, we did do a check-in halfway through the year and you were miles ahead. So let's start off. I am happy to go first.
Okay.
To remind everyone, if you've just joined the show or if you've completely forgotten what I picked, almost like I had, I chose Infosys.
Yes.
Which is a leading consulting group, professional services firm, mainly outsourcing firm actually from India. And the reason I chose this company, A, because it was one of the largest listed companies in India, but B, looking back on my bold predictions as well, I had a very strong Indian thematic.
You were very bullish India.
I was very bullish India, which was fair at the time, I think, because they'd had a pretty strong 2022.
Yeah, you had classic recency bias.
Yes. Directionally, it's not wrong. We've had a lot of experts this year come on the show to talk about how bullish they are on India.
Yeah, I mean, directionally, it's not wrong. The Nifty 50, India's index, has doubled in the last 5 years.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's why I chose Infosys. There wasn't really much thesis, to be honest.
You were also riding the Rishi Sunak wave.
What was
so
that?
Infosys was sort of in the news. I think this was around the same time. Rishi Sunak's wife, so she's the daughter or granddaughter of one of the Infosys founders. And they're billion. I assume
she owns like a meaningful enough chunk to be like a billionaire in her own right.
Yeah. And at the start of the year, we were making all these jokes about why Rishi Sunak doesn't get called a gold digger and stuff like that.
Yeah. I don't know how that played into my thesis.
I think you were a big supporter of Tory politics over in the UK.
Yeah, that sounds right. I'll just cut to the chase, Ren, because there's no point dilly-dallying here. The stock, when we checked halfway through the year, actually had plummeted.
Yeah.
And I remember I was down to the tune of about 20% or so, and it wasn't looking good. It bottomed out in mid-April. Stock was down about 25%. Since then, I am pleased to report that my stock of the year is almost flat for the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's since mid-April, it's rallied about 20%, and it's now trading at 1,475 Indian rupiah, which leaves me only 3% down for the year. Now, make of that what you will. I'm not sure how your stock has performed, but I'll take that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I picked Axon Enterprise. The NASDAQ ticker is AXON.
Stun guns, wasn't it? Is that right?
Yeah. So they have built their company on tasers. They're really trying to specialize in non-lethal law enforcement options. The Motley Fool called them the Apple of law enforcement. But that's not why I found them interesting. The reason I found them interesting is because they have built this software platform, evidence.com. So Axon make body cameras, and then all of that body camera footage gets uploaded to evidence.com, and then it can be accessed by law enforcement, but also by like members of the judicial system, prosecutors and stuff like that.
Keyboard warriors. You know those Netflix docos of everyone sitting at home trying to solve crimes themselves?
Oh, yeah, probably not. They probably got some pretty good logins at evidence.com, you know, tough password requirements. But also, really interestingly, now when police departments are looking to get third-party evidence, so for example, if you're a shopkeeper and you've got surveillance video, or if you're a member of the public and you've taken footage on your phone, that all gets uploaded to evidence.com as well. So think about how sticky this software platform becomes for police departments. It becomes like the backlog of evidence that has been processed and tagged and all of that stuff. It becomes near impossible to then pick that up and move it. Like, and imagine if you couldn't pick it up and move it to another platform and you had to go to all of these members of the public and get them to re-provide the evidence to the new platform. And so Axon has just become incredibly sticky. In the past pulled out my notes from the start of the year. It's been around for decades. It started selling its taser in the 70s, IPO'd in 2001. But in the past 5 years, it is up. The share price is up more than 500%. Hold on. And that's really to do with the shift to body cameras and this platform, evidence.com. And so, you know, there was a whole bunch of tailwinds that I was speaking about. There's massive investment in law enforcement budgets and, like police integrity, like more surveillance of police, more body cameras and stuff like that. I think Biden had allocated like $37 billion, or he'd asked for $37 billion to fund law enforcement. So anyway, Bryce, this is a long way of saying that was the company. Yep. Up. The result for this year, up 38%.
Nice.
So for the first time ever in the history of Equity Mates, I've won our Stock of the Year competition.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It feels good.
Up 38%. So a delta between us of almost 40%. 41%.
41%. Yeah.
Nice. Did you buy?
I didn't.
That's always the case with Stock of the Year.
Yeah, I know.
And a lot of bold predictions, to be honest. I went through mine. I was like, damn it, should have put my money where my mouth was. But anyway, so the results as they are since we first started Stock of the Year, I actually can't remember how many times we've done it now. I would say this is the 5th time or the 4th time.
Yeah.
One of those, yeah. Nice. Well, that brings us to our bold predictions for 2023, but we will be doing a Stock of the Year, as always, in 2024. And if you have stocks to put forward for a consideration for Stock of the Year, then hit us up at contact@equitymates.com or on our social channels, and we'll have a look at them over summer.
Yeah.
I'm fielding ideas.
Okay.
Farming ideas.
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or how about you come on the show and tell us your Stock of the Year for 2024?
Yeah, I think that's more. We'll also do our own stocks, but come and tell us yours.
Yes. No thesis required. Just give us a name and let's go.
Sure.
All right. Well, let's get into bold predictions, Ren. I think between us, we probably have about 25 or 30 to get through. So no time like the present.
Start with the AFL one or finish with the AFL one?
Finish with the AFL one.
Because I'm pretty proud of my AFL one.
All right. Do you want me to kick off?
Yeah, please.
All right. So my first one was around interest rates. I said that rates have to go higher. They will go higher than expected. I said that at the time, Australia was 3.35.
Yep.
US was 4.63. And I said that Australia will put on an additional 1% from where it is now. So I absolutely nailed that, landing at 4.35. I said, though, that the US will have a 6 in front of it. So I'm a little bit higher than expected there.
Yeah,
I think they're in at 5.33. If I had put an extra percent on the US, I would have nailed that as well.
if I had been right, I would have nailed it.
But it was interesting to see the market expectations, and they actually weren't too far off. This was done by Orphear. They looked at market policy, monetary policy expectations. The US, they're expected to be at 5.1, Australia 3.9. So they weren't too far off by the end of this year. As in the general market consensus at the start of the year but by the end of this year, interest rates in the US would be 5.11% and Australia would be 3.93.
Right.
Anyway, 1.5 points to me.
So I also had an interest rate bold prediction. At the start of the year, we were hearing a lot of economists and fund managers say we're going to have interest rate cuts in the second half of the year. And so my bold prediction was simple, and it actually echoes the big call that I made recently. So my bold prediction at the start of the year was that we're not going to see any interest rate cuts in Australia, which was right.
Yeah.
Interesting that we're seeing that it's almost exactly repeating. We're seeing economists and fundies say we're going to start seeing interest rate cuts in the second half of 2024. And if you'd listened to the Ren's Big Calls segment a couple of weeks ago, I've doubled down on this bold prediction. We're not going to see a cut next year.
We even had a couple of fundies in this week who are looking at...
Think there will be cuts.
Yeah. It's crazy. All right, nice. My second ones were around overall market performance. I said that we're going to go sideways for the year. The US and Australia would both end flat. I wish I put a number to it. I actually said 2% down for the US and 3% down for Australia.
So I don't think you get that.
No way.
I mean, you're in the ballpark, like directionally right for Australia. We traded flat. Like it was volatile.
We're up 3.5%. Yeah. So
call
it flat.
Less than inflation is flat.
Yeah. The US, though, got that so wrong. S&P 500 up 19% at the time of recording. NASDAQ up a whopping 46%. So couldn't have got that more wrong. But I reckon if you were to survey the market at the start of the year, you would find that consensus was not the NASDAQ pumping out 46%.
No, certainly not. Yeah. All right, let's keep rolling. I had a couple about tech companies, so maybe I'll do them together. In the US, I said we'll start seeing bankruptcies. In 2022, we saw a lot of unprofitable NASDAQ companies fall between 70 and 90%, but we hadn't seen a lot of bankruptcies. So I said, this is the year businesses go out of business. And then you said, I need a specific measure. And I said, $1 billion NASDAQ listed company will apply for bankruptcy protection.
WeWork,
yeah. So next question.
Well played. They did. They applied. Yeah.
And then back here home in Australia, I said we finally see 2 tech companies in the ASX 20. And you can argue if Aristocrat is a tech company, it's in the ASX 20. But I said let's exclude that.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. So I said the likely candidates are WiseTech, which at the start of the year was 22 in the ASX 200, and then REA Group at 26. Now,
it's had a stellar year.
Hold on, I got the numbers. So WiseTech is in. WiseTech is now in the ASX 20, so tick there. REA is not.
Oh, wow.
But listen to how close it is. So REA Group up 48% this year. Incredible performance. That's the owner of realestate.com.au. Up 48% in a year. Its market cap is $21.25 billion. James Hardie is the 20th in the ASX 20. Its market cap is $21.94 billion. So about $700 million difference.
Jeez, if we'd probably left this recording a couple of weeks, you may have snuck in.
So didn't nail it, but got close.
Not very,
Directionally got
Directionally, yeah. Amazing performance. I saw that for REA last week. I was like, wow, makes sense. Property's been booming. All right, I also have a couple of tech ones that I can whip through. I said that Meta outperforms Alphabet, Apple, Microsoft, Netflix, and Tesla. Tesla up 120%. Amazon 71%, Netflix 55%, Microsoft 55%, Apple 54%, Alphabet 46%. Meta 155%.
Wow, how good.
Yes, love to see
It's
that.
crazy that you made that bold prediction, but Simon and I in the office here were telling you at the end of 2022 to get on Meta, and you didn't do it.
Yeah, no. But I think that was that was in August or something.
No, it was
but-
November.
Oh, was
because we
it?
bought right when, it turned.
Well, as I said, there's a lot in here that money where my mouth is. One that is money where my mouth is, I'm just going to do two here, Ren, if that's all right, was that I said China's internet firms will outperform US counterparts as measured by CraneShares China Internet ETF versus FANG Plus. Now, it's not quite a direct correlation.
Yeah, but
it's as concentrated as you can get.
Without having a finger on the pulse of those Chinese mega cap tech stocks, I feel like they wouldn't have outperformed the US.
No.
Yeah.
Definitely not. So that's a wrong one, but listen to the performance of this. So the K-Web, the Chinese internet company ETF, is down 7%. FANG Plus, which is in my portfolio, is up 90% for the year.
Yeah.
Far out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the new label for these big companies is the Magnificent Seven. And most of the Magnificent Seven will be in that FANG Plus ETF. Not Tesla, I assume, but...
No, there's 10 companies in FANG Plus. The outliers are Snowflake and 3 others that I can't. But yes, the Magnificent Seven are
most of them are in there.
mostly in there, yes.
Okay,
So I didn't get that right, but good to see the performance of FANG Plus.
So continuing on US tech theme, I had a bold prediction that the Elon effect will take hold. And what we saw in 2022 was he came into Twitter and just cut heads. And reports are, I was looking at this up for something else last week. Reports are he's cut 80% of staff.
At Twitter?
Yeah.
Wow.
So New York Times reported a little while ago that revenue was down 55% year on year, but his staff numbers are down 80%. And his monthly active users are down 15%. So, yeah. Anyway, so I said
He's
that...
also just lost the plot.
Yeah, separate conversation.
Yeah.
So I said that the Elon effect would take hold and other big tech companies would see what Twitter has done and start cutting heads, not because they were struggling or because the economy was bad, but simply because they recognized they could do enough with less. And I said the measure is Ant Mama, so really the Magnificent Seven, will have less employees but be more profitable by the end of the year.
Tick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well played.
Next question.
Okay, next question. 2, just to close out overall market or company performance here for me. I obviously felt that the big tech stocks were in for a bit of a wobbly year because I said that S&P equal weight will outperform market cap.
If you're trying to find a coherent investment thesis in your...
There is none.
Oh, I guess kind of, wobbly tech because you said China would outperform the US.
Yeah, US.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said equal weight would outperform market weight in the S&P. Got that wrong. The equal weight was up 8%. The market cap weighted is up 19% for the S&P.
You know that the big tech stocks have outperformed by so much that they had to change the index rules to reduce the size of the Magnificent Seven.
Did they?
They went from Andrew Brown was.
Oh,
talking
that's
about
right.
it.
They did.
They went from like 55% to like 45% of the index.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Which is nuts. 55%.
I know. You'd be kind of like as a owner of that index. I'm kind of just like let it ride.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Indexes last forever.
Yeah.
Then I also said, Ren, I was backing in the rise of ChatGPT from Microsoft.
Bold. And
saying that they would end the year as the most valuable company in the world, taking the crown from Apple. Apple has a market cap of 3 trillion. Microsoft is 2.76.
Wow.
So
pretty
almost
close.
there.
Yeah. Okay, well, speaking of AI, I said would see a bubble forming in AI startups. And so I pulled some data from VentureBeat and PitchBook. In 2021, investments in AI startups, 77.5 billion. 2022, just under 50 billion. In 2023, I said it would cross 100 billion.
In AI startups?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there was a company that raised... What was that company that had 4 employees and they had...
Oh, the European one.
Yeah, they raised a crazy amount alone.
One sec.
It wasn't 100 billion, but like...
The company, it raised 113 million. Mistral AI.
That's it, Mistral.
Yeah.
Yes. Off the back of 4 people.
So, unfortunately, I don't think it reached that 100 billion mark globally. We asked Bard, and there was some that was sort of saying 25 billion in the first half, and maybe 40 or 50 billion for the year. So I guess it's sort of flat year on year.
All right, Ren, let's keep moving then. So I then started taking a look at other markets around the world. At the time, Brazil was much further down the monetary policy line than a lot of other countries. So for some reason, I said it'll be the best performing stock market this year, based on just the index.
How did it go?
It's up 30%, but it's not obviously the best performing given if you were to look at the NASDAQ. But if you were to look at other countries, it beat Australia, it beat the FTSE, it beat India, it beat Japan, it beat China.
I don't think that you can say the NASDAQ isn't America. The S&P 500 is America.
Well, it beat the S&P 500.
Yeah. So maybe you were right.
Well, I haven't looked at every single.
Have you looked at Argentina?
No. So yeah, it's beaten the main ones. What else am I missing? Canada? The
Argentine stock market, this is literally a quick Google, is up 198% since the beginning of 2023.
What?
The Merval, MERVAL.
Okay, well there you go. It's not the best performing stock market.
No, hold on. No, that's not wrong. Up more than 300% since the beginning. Yeah.
Goodness me. Oh, goodness me. But anyway, I to continue with that one, I also said that Asia will outperform Western markets, and it hasn't. Well, it has beaten Australia, but India is up 11%, Japan's up 13%, China has been pumped down 16%.
All right, so we're starting to get your coherent investment philosophy from the start of the year. You had this view that the West would struggle and that emerging markets would outperform.
Yeah.
You picked Infosys as your stock of the year. You said Chinese tech would beat American tech. You thought Brazil would be the best stock market of the year. You thought the US...
India, I've got here, India outperforms.
You thought the US and Australia would trade sideways. Okay.
That's my thesis,
That was your thesis?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a bad thesis. Brazil was up 30%. India was up 15%.
Japan, 13%.
Was your thesis around Japan?
No.
So anyway, and then I guess my thesis was more that US tech would just start ripping again. The Elon effect would take hold and they would start becoming more profitable. There would be a bubble in AI startups. We see 2 Australian tech companies make the ASX 20. Here's a prediction that I didn't get right. I said Twitter will have more users at the end of the year than today. Down about 15%.
Couldn't be worse.
Monthly
Couldn't
active
be
users.
worse.
Well, no. Could be worse. Probably will be worse.
True. Less users, less advertisers. And
here's another big tech prediction I had. I said that YouTube would be the biggest winner in short-term video. So we've got the 3-party competition between YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram Reels. YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram Reels.
Measured by what?
So I think that was the question you asked me at the start of the year as well. It's difficult to do apples to apples comparison because TikTok's not public and YouTube Shorts don't always report the same metrics as Instagram Reels. So I said YouTube Shorts had just crossed 50 million daily views in their most recent quarter. I said that will double by the end of the year to 100 million daily views. Do you want to have a guess at where it's at?
100 million daily views.
Is what I predicted.
Which was double.
A double, yeah.
I would say probably in the 70s.
Yeah, you've nailed it. In October, Sundar Pichai, Alphabet CEO, said that they were at 70 mil. So I wouldn't have got there. Which surprised me because I feel like there's been a bit of buzz around YouTube Shorts.
Yeah, but I also feel like the buzz has subsided a bit.
Okay.
Yeah. Even how I engage with YouTube, I'm doing less of the shorts. It's just not what you go to YouTube for, personally.
Yeah. Anyway.
Good shout. All right, I'm going to move into commodities. I said that lithium will have another strong year. Wrong. But the prediction was that the copper price would be up 40%.
Okay.
Now, the copper price started the year at $8,375 a tonne. So for it to be up 40%, you want it to be in about the $12,000 range or thereabouts. It is $8,100 a tonne, so it's down. Call it flat for the year.
Fair
I
enough.
don't know what my thinking was there. Lithium's also struggled this year.
Oh, yeah. Lithium's fallen a lot this year.
Yeah. Lithium's done, apparently.
No.
No.
Although there is an Aussie company that that are trying to nail the grid scale batteries without any of the battery metals. No lithium, no cobalt, a few other things. Yeah, the company is Altec Batteries, ATC is the ticker.
That's right. Yeah.
We wrote an article about it on our website, so we can include that link in the show notes. So if they succeed, I guess lithium's done. But until then, I think lithium's got a pretty big future.
Yeah.
Although there's some massive deposits being found. About halfway through the year, there was a massive deposit near the California border. And then I was reading an article like a couple of weeks ago, another massive...
In the volcano.
That was, earlier this year. And then another massive deposit has been found in the States. I mean, lithium is pretty ubiquitous.
Do you reckon the states have known about this and now they're just being like, whoop, found a deposit?
No. I think the lithium is kind of everywhere, but it just hasn't been super valuable.
Yeah.
And so now it's about finding concentrated deposits that you can extract easily.
So, bro, I've got only a few left to go. Moving into crypto and then other things. Do you have any actual stock-related ones
Yeah, I've got
left?
a couple more stock ones. So let me hit them. I had Tesla self-driving will have a recall in the United States. And if you remember, that happened really early in the year, this year.
Yeah. Like, you called that bang on.
Yeah. I said Disney will try to acquire Roblox. And I said my reasoning was Bob Iger's back. He will feel the pressure to make a big splash. All of his legacy has been built through acquisition. If you read Ride of a Lifetime, great book. It's a story of a number of acquisitions. Late last year, Disney started talking about launching their own metaverse project. But why build something when you can buy it, is what I said. More than half of US kids under the age of 16 play Roblox. This is how Disney moves into the metaverse. I think all of that logic was pretty strong, if I could say so myself, but Disney did not try and buy Roblox. I feel like the metaverse has been the biggest loser of this year.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Gone.
One more company one. I said Jeff Bezos pulls a Bob Iger and returns to Amazon.
Couldn't be further from the
truth. He has not done that. Instead, he's been doing cringe
he's
Vogue.
Bought a $500 million yacht and he's sailing around the Caribbean.
And doing cringe Vogue photo shoots.
Yeah.
All right, Bryce.
He's also ripped.
Yeah, human growth hormones are one hell of a drug. Allegedly. All right, well, let's take a quick break here before we get sued by Bezos and his deep pockets. On the other side, let's talk crypto, let's talk AFL, let's talk Person of the Year, and all other bold predictions that we made. All right, welcome back to Equity Mates. We are wrapping the year. At the start of every year, we make bold predictions for the year ahead, and we also name our stock of the year. We've had a look at the stocks. We've spoken about some of the bold predictions. We are getting into some of the more weird and wonderful ones. Bryce, you have a crypto one for us.
Yeah. It was pretty simple. Bitcoin will have doubled by the end of the year. It's up 172%.
Not bad.
Next question.
Not bad. I had a crypto one as well. I said crypto trades sideways in 2023 and finishes somewhere between 20 and 25K US dollars. It broke 44,000 US dollars earlier this month. So you were right. I was certainly not. I think my reasoning, and I think your reasoning was quite similar. We're all just looking at this halving event, and I thought it would trade sideways and then at the start of 2024 start ticking up, and you thought it would tick up earlier than that, and you've nailed the timing. The question is, have you nailed the timing? Like, have you been investing?
Yeah, so I haven't been dollar cost averaging because crypto for me, it's go hard or go home. And so I went hard probably 6 or 7 weeks ago.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
How hard? Like percentage of
Like-
your portfolio?
Close, like meaningful. I would say more than I would. I publicly say you don't want more than 5%. I'm more than 5%. It's go hard or go home. I think for me, it's like,
Go hard or go home with investment money that you can afford to lose.
yeah.
And don't sacrifice your core portfolio.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
So go hard with some caveats or go home.
Yes. But for me, it's like, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Putting $500 in and turning that into $2,000, all you're going to do is kick yourself that you didn't go harder.
Exactly.
Because like your
Yeah.
thesis was right. I think this, like, to relate this back to an actual stock market investing lesson that Charlie Viola, the advisor, told us earlier in the year. He was like, look at how many lines you have in your brokerage account, because if you nail something, you want it to be meaningful to you. And, you know, having a $200 position in a broker and that turning into $2,000, a 10-bagger, like, you feel great that you picked it, but reward yourself for the work that you've done.
Yeah, and I think the way, exactly, you put $200 in, it has to double. Even if it doubles, you make $200. You put more in, and it yeah. Anyway, you get the message. And but I think it's a different. I think people would be thinking, oh, well, then, you know, the approach with the core portfolio is a little different though, because that's like a, you know, I don't have to go hard or go home on that now, because the way that we know Bitcoin kind of plays out, I'm playing the market here and timing much more than a core approach. And so putting small amounts over a long period of time is adequate for a core strategy, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Now, to play devil's advocate, because I do dollar cost average into crypto, but for me, dollar cost averaging over the last 18 months has been a way to build a position over time. And now I'm in a position where I've got like a few $1,000s in Bitcoin. And so it's been a slow grind. And as the markets trade sideways, it's just been a little bit each paycheck. And I've topped it up here and there, topped it up recently as it started ripping. But, you know, now I'm like, okay, I've got enough in there.
Yeah.
Might put some more in. Anyway, so crypto. This is not a crypto podcast. We do have a sister crypto podcast, Crypto Curious, which I imagine their listens are going to chart the crypto price.
Big time.
Yeah, so get ready to boom in 2024. I had a prediction where I have no notes next to it, and I haven't even bothered looking up whether it was right or not, because I think it was 1, not bold, and 2, clearly right. Energy prices will be meaningfully higher. Have you looked at your power bill recently?
Tick. Although oil's coming down at the moment, which is good to see.
They don't pass that on to consumers, though.
Oh, they do. Have you seen the petrol price recently?
No.
It's down.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, cool. So I had I usually do a Times Person of the Year. On reflection, though, doing it at the start of the year,
no, it's good. Like,
it's hard though, because it's of the year. You know what I mean?
Bro,
and my guesses are always based on like the lead up to the start of the year.
You're saying that there's like the history that we know doesn't factor into Times thinking. So it's like there's a blank slate at the start of the year when you're making a prediction.
Yes. Well, no, it's more like I make my prediction based on. Well, for example, I did Sam Altman.
Well, I think that's an incredibly good guess.
But it's because in like late 2022, he was absolutely buzzing. But there's been people this year that I would never have thought of that have now had a stellar 2023.
Okay, so
do you know what I'm saying?
Let's just be clear. So your bold prediction was Sam Altman, the co-founder and CEO of OpenAI, the maker of ChatGPT, would be the Times Person of the Year.
Yeah. I think listening back to it, I also said Satya Nadella, but
okay,
my notes say, yeah.
With the benefit of hindsight, now you don't know who the Times Person of the Year is.
No.
As we record today, who do you think is Time Person of the Year?
Someone who's just been absolutely all-consuming. That's generally like the vibe, and has just like captures global attention. And I'd probably stick with similar to what I have, to be honest.
Sam Altman.
Well, I mean, he's captured attention in the business world. but I don't think it's broad enough for time. I don't know. I'm going to stick with who I've got.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Sam Altman is an incredibly good guess, given everything that's happened. He is not their person of the year. He was named their CEO of the year, which I didn't know was a separate thing, but I saw that this morning.
Okay, that's good to know.
So, joining the likes of Adolf Hitler and Donald Trump as the Time Person of the Year, Taylor Swift.
That's fair. That's kind of what I meant with, like, she's just absolutely dominated all year.
Yeah.
Far out. Wow, well played to her.
Yeah. It's a strange award, isn't it? When you can start it with...
Taylor Swift, yeah. Person of the year. Anyway, I didn't get that one right. But CEO of the year, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Half a point.
Could be you next year.
No. All right, I've got one more to go, Ren. So what have you got?
I've only got AFL.
Oh, me too.
All right, well, let's get to it.
I said that the Bombers would win a final. They actually had an end-of-season collapse after starting so well, so I got that wrong. When we'll leave more AFL chat to our AFL podcast next year.
We're going to do it. All right, that is an ironclad commitment from Bryce.
Wrong.
Stay tuned for the AFL podcast.
Wrong.
So my AFL prediction, I had just come off an absolutely brutal end to 2022. I went to the grand final where my Swans lost by about 70 points to Geelong.
Yes.
But I said that premiership hangovers are real, and as you get older, the hangovers hit harder, and Geelong has a pretty old list. So I said Geelong wouldn't make the top 4. I should have just loaded up on Sportsbet and not invested throughout the year, because not only did I nail it, but it was even worse than that.
They didn't even make the top 8.
They didn't make the top 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I gamble responsibly, all of that. I don't know if we need to put that. What's the disclaimer now?
No, we don't need to.
Chances are you're about to lose.
You're about to lose, or whatever. Anyway, nice. So we got through a lot there, Ren. I think I tallied mine up 5 out of 14, I think. So I'll take that.
I think I got 6.5 out of 13, which is exactly half.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing what Andrew Brown gets when we get him into the studio for Thursday's wrap with him. He usually does a little bit better than we do. But look, it's been a very interesting year. Still thinking about Taylor Swift getting Time Person of the Year. Well done to her. But yeah, pretty big year.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been a tough year for the economy, I think. And it's a reminder that the stock market and the economy are often two different things. Because everything we've spoken about today, it's like the stock... Has the stock market gone down? Like Brazil to Argentina to
China.
The US, China's gone down? Okay. But
16%.
to India, to Japan, to Australia, like everyone seems to have gone up. But I reckon if you go to most of those countries, the economic headlines have been quite negative. Inflation, cost of living, Argentina's going through an economic crisis and thinking about getting rid of the peso. Like it's just, it's a reminder that the economy and the stock market are different things, which makes it so hard to predict and time the stock market. And that's why, despite your strategy for Bitcoin, maybe we'll exclude that, for most people in most of the time with most investments, dollar cost averaging and stopping trying to time the market and just averaging in is a sensible strategy.
Yeah, very interested to see how the next few months play out as the lag effect of interest rates kicks even harder. What I found interesting with our predictions, Ren, is that none of us had anything to do with property in there. I don't think we would have predicted how property played out this year. I think at the start of the year, many experts, I should say, were anticipating a pretty decent drawdown.
I think the fact that we didn't have any property predictions speaks to our change this year. I think this year, buying a house got a lot more real for us, or buying an apartment got a lot more real for us, and we got pre-approval and we had more housing experts on. And I think the fact that there was no housing predictions at the start of the year was we weren't thinking about it as much.
My 2022 predictions had housing in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe we were just like, fingers crossed there is a downturn. Because we were thinking about buying. But anyway, look, if you have bold predictions that you want to put forward for 2024, join us in the Facebook discussion group over summer. Hit us up, let us know at contact@equitymates.com. Send us a voice recording to the same email address, and we will make sure that as we kick off the year next year, we'll include your bold predictions. Thanks for listening and the support as always. We've got a couple of episodes to go before we jump into the summer series in January. 12 episodes, 12 companies, 12 experts. We cannot wait. And also remember your stock of the year. If you have an idea, shoot it through. But it's been, as always, Ren, a pleasure to chat stocks and predictions. We'll pick it up on Thursday.
Sounds good.
You have been listening to an Equity Mates Media production. In the spirit of reconciliation, Equity Mates Media acknowledges the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea and community. We pay our respects to their elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today. This podcast is intended for education and entertainment purposes. Any advice is general advice only and has not taken into account your personal financial circumstances, needs, or objectives. Before acting on general advice, you should consider if it is relevant to your needs and read the relevant product disclosure statement. And if you're unsure, please speak to a financial professional. The hosts of this podcast and their guests may have positions in the companies mentioned. Equity Mates Media operates under an Australian Financial Services Licence 540697.